we must talk this morning about the comments of Lee Anderson. Now, he was well, I suppose, would you call him a former Tory now? I mean, he's still a member of the Conservative Party, but he's had the Tory whip removed. He was the former deputy chairman of the Tory party, and this is because of comments he made on television the other night regarding the repellent little runt, Sadiq Khan, who is, of course, our London mayor. Now, if you don't know what Lee Anderson said, he basically made comments regarding, well, he was reacting to something Suella Braverman had been saying, and to cut a long story short, Lee Anderson said that Islamists had got control of the London mayor and that they were essentially all his friends when he was talking about what's happening in London at the moment. So, firstly, I'd love to hear from you about whether you think removing the whip from Lee Anderson was the right thing to do. Secondly, I'd like to know whether you think he should have apologised. I am really irritated by this story. Not maybe for the reasons that you might think, but I am irritated by this story because, as you know, I have a particularly special depth of feeling for the London mayor, Sadiq Khan. As someone who's lived in London for the entire time he's been mayor, I absolutely loathe him. I think that he is repellent. I think that he is public relations focused. I think that he is divisive. I think that he is awful. But I think Lee Anderson's comments were wrong. And I'll tell you why. I think that they are probably what you would call casual racism. And what's irritating about this, there are many things that are irritating about this story, but what is irritating about this story is that it's actually removed the focus from what could have been quite a fair point about what's going on in London. We are seeing threats from people who are more radical in their Islamic faith. We are seeing people who are MPs who are being threatened by those people who are protesting every weekend. We are seeing a situation, there's stories in the newspapers today where more MPs need protection every single day. Bodyguards for MPs on the front pages this morning. Now, those are people who are extreme in their Islamic faith. Now, if you want to protest about what's happening to Palestinian people, I think that's absolutely reasonable if you want to do that. If you're going to make chants or threaten people when you do those protests, chants that are anti-Jewish, then you are extreme and you are wrong. And that is something that is happening in London. The issue with what he said, Lee Anderson this is tarring Sadiq Khan with the same brush just because he is a Muslim. And the reason I'm irritated about this is because I firstly think that Lee Anderson should have just apologised, because I think it was a misjudged thing to say. The other thing that's irritating is that now the fair point about what's happening in London is now not being discussed because everyone's discussing this racism that has happened, which could have been quashed had he just said sorry. So that's irritating. But more irritating than that is that it has now given Sadiq Khan the moral high ground. Sadiq Khan is absolutely loving this. He's absolutely loving playing the victim here and taking the moral high ground. A moral high ground that he's entitled to because what was said was wrong. And it's just irritating to me that you're giving this man, a man that is so repellent and a man that is so divisive, you're giving him the moral high ground. You're giving him an easy win by saying something so stupid. So Lee Anderson was wrong and stupid to say it, but Sadiq Khan now sort of pontificating in such a pious manner, saying that it was pouring fuel on the fire of anti-Muslim hatred and all of these things as well, I'm afraid there's deafening silence from Rishi Sunak and all of this stuff. It's not good enough in the United Kingdom. All of these things that Sadiq Khan is saying about this, and this is a time where we shouldn't have comments to divide us. You now have a man, Sadiq Khan this is, who is taking the moral high ground about being divisive when he is clearly one of the most divisive politicians that we have. It is not Lee Anderson, it's Sadiq Khan who referred to moderate Muslims himself back in 2016. It was revealed in an interview that he called them Uncle Toms. Sadiq Khan said that, no one else. Sadiq Khan put out literature from TfL that showed a white family where they were told, where it was said that they don't represent real Londoners. That's Sadiq Khan being divisive, no one else. Sadiq Khan was the one that said that if you were opposed to the ultra-low emission zone in London, you were aligned with the far right. That's divisive. Sadiq Khan has presided over more young black men and young people from ethnic minorities being stabbed in our city and killed than any other mayor in history. That is divisive. So do not give this repellent little man an easy win by saying such stupid comments. Anyone in the Tory party, anyone in politics, because it is Sadiq Khan who is divisive, and it is those people who make stupid comments like Lee Anderson who is also divisive, and it is just an easy win for such an awful little man. So there we go. And I think Lee Anderson should have just apologised, drawn a line under it, and moved on.